Hello, good evening, and welcome. I'm John Lazarus with Stories Matter and D&E Publishing. While romance might seem like an easy genre to write, this couldn't be further from the truth. Much like a woman forced to sort through a barrage of dick pics, many unsolicited, your average romance reader is discerning and difficult to impress. And much like sending dick pics, there's a lot more to writing a great romance than making it really long or giving it unexpected twists and turns. We'll learn how to transform our romance novel from a poorly cropped, blurry shot of your manhood into a fleshed-out striptease that hides as much as it reveals on this edition of Stories Matter. Today's video is brought to you by flowers. Celebrate 130 million years of history by giving a loved one a colorful variety of angiosperms. A versatile organism, flowers can liven up your living space, cover up the scent of depraved lovemaking, and hide the fact you barely know the person with whom you just exchanged genetic material and can't think of a more personal gift. As a busy writer who's always at work, who barely got to know any of his 3 wives, especially his second and most favorite one, flowers are my go-to gift. This Valentine's Day, visit your local price-gouging florist for more information. Now, you might be saying, John, didn't you already do a video about this? Not exactly. My previous video was specifically how to write love scenes, but as we'll see, romance novels are about a lot more than erect nipples and how to describe a cum shot. Having said that, love scenes are a key component that can't be ignored and need to be sprinkled throughout to keep your reader engaged. To illustrate this point, I'll be ending each section of today's video with 5 seconds of porn. So wait, what's the point of romance then, if not to give an excuse for unattractive people to create pornography? Well, there's a lot of great reasons. It's a genre with a devoted built-in audience. Love is one of the deepest emotions worth exploring. And hey, maybe if you write a good enough book, one of your wives will take you back, especially your second and most favorite one. Step 1. What's the motivation? I want you to think about motivation as different from goals. For example, your goal might be to write a great book, but motivation goes deeper, exploring the underlying meaning behind that goal, which for a writer might be proving to their parents that they weren't a mistake, or proving to your wife that you can feel emotions and the only reason you acted so distant is because you put so much of yourself into your work. In a romance novel, the goal for the heroine is very simple: to score a love interest and get him to dump his seed inside her. But the motivation is what makes your story interesting. You could develop her backstory to explain her desire. For example, in my 2006 romance novel, Above the Rim, the heroine craves the lanky love interest because she lost her virginity in the bathroom of an NBA arena. This motivation works in the other direction as well. It can establish conflict and drive the heroine away from the love interest. Maybe she's hesitant after a slew of handsome gentlemen turned out to be court-ordered couriers serving legal papers. Or maybe, for example, she's reluctant to let herself fall in love because this new man looks, sounds, and acts like a 20 years older version of her father who left their family when she was a girl. Step 2. Choose an unforgettable setting. It's important to stand out in a crowd, and there's no better way to do that than a well-defined setting. And this makes sense because in real life, setting dictates mood, as any man who's taken his wife to a monster truck rally can attest. Many writers go for contemporary settings, which, while not super unique, allow the reader to more easily insert themselves into that fantasy. Think of places you often find women in your everyday life, like yoga class, a nursing school, or a woman's locker room. Historical settings are also popular. You want readers to remember a time when chivalry wasn't dead, when men would gouge each other's eyes out just to get a glance at a woman's ankle. The Russian Civil War and The Time of Cholera are a couple famous examples of historical romantic novel settings. Paranormal settings are another common setting, but generally the love interest here needs to be a spirit or a ghost, fulfilling the fantasy of someone who can pleasure the heroine sexually while not always asking to borrow cash or complaining when she has a girls' night out. Step 3. Know the tropes. Tropes are a little like a second wife, with an incredible flexibility and a pair that defied gravity. You don't realize how much you need them until you try to get by without them. Lots of writers dismiss tropes as laziness and the antithesis of creativity, but romantic novels are all about comfort. In real life, nothing makes sense and everything sucks, and even if you succeed, climate change is probably going to kill your ass anyway. So your reader desperately wants those familiar tropes and formulas to forget all that. To illustrate my point, in the second chance trope, the couple realizes they were truly meant for each other after all, even if in real life your second wife's new boyfriend puts a restraining order against you just for going into his house to admire his boat every night, and fucks up your plan to make her realize how much better off she'd be back with you. Anyway, you should try playing around with the tropes too. The secret billionaire trope is one where a rich person or royal pretends to be a commoner and falls in love with another commoner who doesn't treat them special. My novella, The Girl in the Band T-shirt, turns it on its head by having the heroine be the CEO of a fraudulent pharmaceutical firm that turns out is actually worth nothing. Step 4. Always choose a happy ending. Just like any man who happens to pick up a Chinatown newspaper, your reader is looking for a happy ending. And it doesn't matter if this happy ending, much like yours, is fleeting and only briefly helps you forget how lonely you truly are. Step 5. Get with the 21st century. Finally, while romance novels have often been seen as a genre written by hetero-cis women, for hetero-cis women, about hetero relationships, things have changed. In today's society, with our they-thems, and our pansexual breakfast cereals, and our pegging dominatrixes, you've got to be open-minded as a writer. It's good to know your audience. I've found that millennial women like at least a pair of ass-eating scenes in each novel. And more often than not, Gen Z readers prefer if it's the man that gets pregnant. And happily ever after is almost never a wedding anymore, but rather the opening of a cute little bakery, or becoming the highest paid boy-girl couple on OnlyFans. But the deeper truths and feelings are the same as they've always been. After all, however we identify, all any of us really want is complete and utter devotion and adoration. Please take me back, Cindy. That's all for today. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, and I'll leave you with this week's author quote of the week. See you on the next one.